This big fucking ass kid, this lame ass nigga.
with
Holy lag.
Oh,
You thought you was funny
okay.
doing that?
Well, I'm lagging so bad, bro. Jesus Christ. What?
Shinra, fuck me, Shinra, fuck me, Shinra.
Yo. So yeah, Shinra. Here we go. Here's for one.
Blah blah blah.
Are you able to read?
Just move Caleb.
No.
Move Caleb.
Oh no, you can't read. Okay, I'll read it out for you. Okay. So P1, a subject S
I
has
don't understand English.
You don't what?
I don't understand English.
You understand it? That's people.
I'm about to wait. Give me a second. I'm about to break my high score.
Upskills me.
God. Is this guy tier 2 chat? Tier 2, guys. Is this guy?
No.
Is Shinra tier 2, bro?
No.
Is he?
Well,
Oh, I thought so.
What's the second premise?
Okay, do you disagree or agree with the first premise?
If a person is sufficiently morally justified and believe in abortion is morally permissible, if and only if, given their empirical evidence, their confidence in P reaches a certain fixed threshold. What's the threshold?
Yeah, so when we talk about P1, we're talking about justification. Oh my God, justification and degrees of belief. Okay, so what I'm invoking here is this contemporary epistemology. So we would say justification is often modeled in probabilistic or Bayesian terms. So a credence is a rational degree of belief between 0 and 1. To say S's credence in P is going to be over A is to say that S regards P as sufficiently probable given their evidence.
Wait, sorry, I was reading chat. I was looking at what Mona said. What did you say?
Yeah, so a fixed threshold A represents the cutoff at which belief is epistemically permissible rather than premature or reckless. For example, we could say in high stakes moral cases, A may be like set quite high, close to 1. And then low stakes or ordinary empirical context, A may be lower, say like, above 0.5. That's a threshold. And for P1, I'm sure you don't understand that is what you're asking, because you're asking what the threshold was, you fucking retard. So you're already lost in the conversation.
No, hold on. I wasn't asking like what's the wait, hold on specific. I wasn't asking whether or not there were thresholds. Right?
No, you asked what the threshold was, and I just gave you the threshold.
Yeah, what the threshold is in this specific case. So that the first thing just doesn't answer why I'm asking. Like,
what do you mean by specific case?
Threshold do you have?
Yeah, what do you mean by
in the case of abortion? Wait, hold on. In the case of abortion, you're saying that like a person's only morally more justified in believing abortion is like justified if the evidence they have for it.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? Because you're deji rambling. Could you repeat what you just said?
Okay. Anyways, but you're saying that like somebody is like justified to believe in abortion is morally justified.
No.
If their evidence or what's it called? If the evidence they have, right, is high enough, right, or if the confidence they have based off the evidence is high enough.
No, it's at least a fixed epistemic threshold A. Okay, so
yes.
Okay. So the reason why it's fixed, right, is because if an A varied across person / situations to justification.
Was fixed.
Oh, I'm sorry. The P1 says that if S is credence in P, given their moral and empirical evidence is at least a fixed epistemic threshold A.
Okay, but that isn't why I asked you. Hold on, I didn't.
So in moral cases like abortion, the evidence includes both empirical evidence like fetal development, women's health care problems, sociological data, and then moral evidence could include things like principles of autonomy, harm, rights, and personhood. So A ensures the justification requires integration of both kinds of evidence to a level where S can responsibly affirm P. P1 is just trivial. So what are you questioning?
Okay. Okay, I'm going to repeat it again.
Okay, repeat it again.
What is the threshold? What is the threshold?
Yo, I answered this 3 times.
Okay, wait.
Okay, so I'm gonna type this out. I'm gonna type it out because this guy's literally retarded.
Why are you raising your voice? So what
I'm gonna type this out. Okay, I'm gonna type this out for you.
Why does Shinra keep getting interrupted?
What'd you say?
Yeah, I'm gonna type this out for you.
Shinra keep getting interrupted? Why is
shut the fuck up? Shut the fuck up, Rizhan. You're not debating. Okay, so look. Threshold A equals the credence level where the belief is both evidentially responsible and truth conductive. Okay, this is very trivial, but
literally like hold on, maybe it's just me. Look, you just defined what a threshold is, like which isn't what I was asking.
That's just that's just the domain of where people.
Wow. Okay. Maybe like I'm just speaking past you. Like, what's wrong with you? Well, what do you think I'm asking you? Can you like tell me what do you think I'm asking you?
Free R. Kelly.
He already answered it, bro.
This guy, bro, like.
By chance, do you think his answer wasn't cognitively useful?
Oh my god! Why is he
It's not pronounced
saying?
cognitively. It's pronounced
We both.
cognitively. Cognitively.
I'm about to
Bro,
come.
Rizhan, bro,
I
shut
know
your
all the high
ugly
tiers in
ass
this
up
lobby.
and let them debate, bitch.
Whoa, calm
You talking
down.
crazy? Damn.
Wait, guys, I
Yo,
can't
who
hear
is that
Tron.
short
Can anybody else hear
that guy
Tron?
said he's talking crazy, yo? Stop talking. I'm like, all right, yo, go back to your debate.
I will
My
touch
fault.
you, little bro.
Can anybody else hear Tron?
Quit.
No, we can't hear Tron,
Uh,
bro.
Is this like a
Oh,
tier
shit.
2 performance befitting of Shinra right
Yo,
now?
Tron, we couldn't hear you, bro. Your
Yeah,
shit was like
okay,
cut out.
Tron,
Yeah.
What do you
So
think? I'm
obviously you're asking what threshold means index to
No.
moral questions. And in this
Sure.
case, yeah, you did. It's on recording. We can go back. So I'll repeat myself one more time, and then I'm just gonna go to P2 because you're just like inept, right? So Deji, right? So in moral cases like abortion, right, the evidence includes empirical evidence, maybe fetal development, women's healthcare problems, sociological data, and moral evidence, which is just talks about principle of autonomy, harm, rights, and personhood, right? So the threshold A ensures that the justification requires integration of both kinds of evidence to a level where S can responsibly affirm P. So from there, we should go on to P2 because P1 is just fucking trivial within the domain of the non-contractual. Oh, that was bad. The non-contractualist account.
Okay. That
Right.
didn't answer the question. but
That did. You want to conclude? You want to conclude? Oh my god! Holy shit!
Yeah, I'm just going
So
to
just be
repeat the
clear.
question one more time.
So
What
for
is the
P1,
unique
right?
threshold?
These are justified from a support from evidentialism. So according to evidentialism, right, belief is justified when it fits one's evidence, representing evidence as credence requiring over A, which simply operationalizes the fit. And that's also there's like support from Bayesian epistemology that's like very trivial. So Bayesianism interprets rational
Wait,
belief
is
as
my mic
probabilistic.
low?
It's
Hello,
my
is
mic, Larry.
low?
Is
Somebody
Your
said,
mic
is my mic, Larry? I'm
Is
getting
my
stung
mic
off
low?
by a non-contractualist account because I'm a fucking retard British syndicate.
Yeah, wait, hold
Driller?
on.
Wait,
Is
wait,
it that I'm
here,
getting
wait.
drowned or is it that I'm
I'm not
getting
gonna
drowned
lie,
or is
this
his
is
mic
really
just really loud?
All right, I'm gonna go to P2
Like,
for
when
you,
he ever
okay?
talks to you, no one could hear you, but like normally you're.
Yeah, so P2, here's
Oh,
P2.
okay. Give me a second.
Is he gonna loud mic me? Like, I don't want Deji loud micing me right now.
Okay, I've turned on my light.
So,
Hold on.
a note for P1.
Wait, hold on.
Hold on. I'm holding on, bro. I just sent P2, bro. You can go to P2 after whatever the fuck you're doing. So, note for the debate doesn't understand epistemic non-contractualism.
Okay, wait, give me a second.
Doesn't
Testing.
know
Speak quickly.
what credences are. Hello.
No, hold on. Give me a second. I can't hear you.
Okay, Deji. Is this guy tier 2, chat? Type 1 if he's tier 2, bro. If he's tier 3,
I'm not gonna lie, I solo everyone in this lobby.
hello?
Yeah, okay, wait, hold on. Is the second premise, and let me just like also, is the second premise saying like, okay, somebody should act, or somebody should act as if abortion is okay?
That's justified by
in the case
decision
in which
theoretic
the
foundation.
confidence- Wait, hold on. Specifically in the case
I'm
that
answering
they're
your
confident
question.
in that belief. Hold on, I haven't even finished the question.
I precogged it because I'm just
Okay.
so much better than you.
Well, yeah, okay. Are you like? Is this how the debates go? Where you just like keep cutting me off?
Why'd you
What's-
say
what's
go
going on?
twice? But P2 is just simple, right? The justification is by
It's
these.
going to go, but
Go.
I just
You
want
said
to get
go
clear.
twice.
Okay.
Can I explain P2 and you can shut the fuck up?
Yeah, I was going to.
All right,
ask a
good boy.
question and
So
you keep cutting me off.
P2 is just.
Anyways,
Are you good?
The question was simply just like, okay, is premise 2 just stating it is safe for a person to act as if abortion is okay when their confidence in that belief is as high as the level of certainty required by their
No.
personal beliefs.
So it's justified due
values, or
to a
interests?
decision theoretic
If yes,
foundation. So
please
acting
tell me.
as if P is true incurs cost if P is false. And this decision theory, which I'm invoking there, models rational action by comparing expected utilities. And so the cutoff point for action may be B1 is the credence needed for the expected value of acting on P to be positive. It's also justified through interest-sensitive value. So we'll talk about practical stakes that vary. So if the consequences of being worse or wrong are severe, then B rises. If low stakes B1 is lower, then that reflects a pragmatic encroachment in epistemology, right? And for that point, I'm just invoking Fontola and McGrath-Stanley. And so for the moral fit, since abortion involves ethical commitments like social consequences and personal stakes and stuff like that, the threshold must reflect these interests. So B1 ensures that practical safety isn't just epistemic, but also prudential and moral. So it's just trivially the case that P2 is justified because rational action requires credence to exceed a stake-sensitive threshold.
Sorry, what's it called? So specifically, I tried telling you that I couldn't hear you. But then you
okay, then I'll just repeat myself because obviously you're not listening. So P2, well, hold on. Can I get moderation on this jeweler? Wait, can I get moderation on this dumb jeweler?
Wait,
Wait,
chill, bro.
Shinra, can you
Wait, chill.
like? I know you're like.
Wait, chill, bro. Chill. Let
No, I'm
Tron,
chill, bro.
like, finish
He's like very
Yeah.
like weird right now. So
Wait, Shinra, bro, just let
P1,
Tron
sorry,
finish
P2
out,
is
man,
justified by a
and I'll
decision theoretic foundation. That's what I'm invoking for P2. So all that is acting as if P2 incurs cause if P is false. And so the decision theory I'm invoking there, this models rational action by comparing expected utilities. So the cutoff point for action is B1, which equals the credence needed for the expected value of acting on P to be positive. And that's also justified through an interest sensitive value. And that talks about practical stakes that vary. So if the consequences of being wrong are severe, then BI rises. Now, if there is low stakes, then BI is lower. So that reflects the pragmatic encroachment in epistemology. And I told you prior that I'm invoking Stanley's account for that. And so the moral fit and how that's relevant to the like abortion, because abortion involves ethical commitments like social consequences and personal stakes. So the threshold must reflect those interests. And so the BI there, because I'm pretty sure you can't even read the syntax, ensures that practical safety isn't just epistemic but also prudential and moral. So P2 is just trivially justified because rational action requires credence to exceed the stake sensitive threshold. P2 is also just extremely trivial.
Yeah, somebody ping Shinra. He just
Bro,
ran away.
Tron, bro, he went on deafened because y'all server muted him, so he didn't.
Well, I didn't server mute anyone. If he's not able to track, we can just conclude. I'm just not gonna engage with this guy.
Like he went on deafened, like he purposely said, "I'm not listening."
Yeah,
to
this
you
guy's
'cause
too
y'all
low
server
tier for me.
muted
Like
him."
this guy,
Yeah,
like I saw a debate of him debating Archie, and he went on deafened. He went on deafened and started making arguments and server muted him.
Can you mute him, please? Prince, can you mute him, please?
Go on.
Can you mute him, please? Thank you. Also, yeah, man. So I don't disagree. I don't disagree with P2 at all. You know, like in fact, but the issue is like I think that the sort of what's it called, the sort of level of certainty that I have, right, given my own personal beliefs, values, and circumstances, you know, right, for to what's it called, to say that abortion is morally justified or morally unjustified, they're very low, right. So in fact, I don't think I need to be very certain about whether or not abortion is like morally justified, all right, or not, for me to act as if it's that way. But I don't disagree with P2 at all. So what's P3?
Could you repeat that last part? Because I didn't like your Deji accent. So you said the level of certainty I have given my personal right. So chill out. What's wrong? Is this rhetorical chat? But anyways, you said the level of certainty I have given my personal beliefs and circumstances to say it's normally justified or unjustified is there, and I don't need to act upon that to be certainty, and I don't need to be justified to act. Can you like make that coherent for everyone in the fucking call right now?
Okay, Prince, can you mute him again, please?
Wait, hold on.
Thank you.
Oh,
that's
shit.
possible. Okay, yeah, just want to circle back. So to be completely clear, I don't particularly disagree with Moscow. I don't particularly disagree with P2. But it's unclear whenever you say that, whenever you say that it is practically safe for that person to act in that specific way. What do you mean whenever you say safe for one? But two, I'm still unclear because I asked you the question about premise one that you didn't tell me. So initially you said that there was some fixed threshold that needs to be met for you to act in these specific sort of ways. And then I asked you what is the threshold? And then you kept telling me what a threshold was when I was asking you what the threshold was for this specific topic, right? And especially in this specific case. And then you didn't tell me anything, right? You just kept repeating back to me what a threshold was, which was really awkward. But yeah, that's about it.
Yo, okay, so this guy is retarded. So for P1, I don't know if he was listening, but the threshold is going to be trivial within the framework of a epistemic justification, right? This argument revolves around a non-contractualist account of epistemic justification, right? So P1 is extremely trivial because the threshold here just means it's just justified by combining Bayesian thresholds with evidentialist proportionally and reliabilist safety, okay? And all that means is that a belief formed as a credence over A would be too risky or error prone. And so the threshold ensures belief is safe enough to count as justified. And that's just also justified by evidentialist support. So in evidentialism, they say a justified belief equals a belief proportion to evidence, requiring evidence. Over A ensures proportionally is satisfied. Okay, that is super trivial. Okay, we're just talking about epistemic and Bayesian thresholds. So I'm very, very, very confused on why you're asking for something so simple. So for P2, all I said is how that ties into the argument is because since abortion involves ethical commitments and social consequences and personal stakes, the threshold must reflect those interests, you fucking retard. And that ensures that the practical safety isn't just epistemic, but also prudential and moral, right? So that's how it ties into the fucking argument. Now, for the other dumb shit you said, you said, I don't need justification to act because you said prior that the level of certainty that you have given your personal beliefs and circumstances to say is normally justified or unjustified is low, and then you don't need to act on that certainty, and I don't need to be justified in the act. That's what you said. But if you act without justification, your actions epistemically indistinguishable. Oh my god, it was bad. Indistinguishable from guessing. So, for example, someone could say flipping a coin to decide whether abortion is morally permissible doesn't make your act rational; it just makes it arbitrary. And so when we invoke these epistemic norms that exist precisely to distinguish responsible beliefs from like caprice, that doesn't entail that while certainty isn't required, some justification is required to prevent action from being irrational or reckless. And so for the prudential point I was talking about, right, it's just the case trivially that stakes demand justification. So acting without justification disregards your own interests and risks like severe error. So if you're wrong about permissibility, right, and the consequences may be like moral harm, guilt, or social fallout, they are going to be very significant. So the justification is a safeguard that allows your actions to align with your long-term interests and values. And that just invokes decision theory. And so for P3, because P1 and P2 is so fucking trivial, all P3 is that S knows that abortion is morally permissible, P, if and only if P is true. So S has sufficient epistemic justification for P, and 3 is practically safe for S to act as if P is true given S's actual interest.
Did clock your teeth?
Wait, hold on. Is it muted?
Is it muted?
Who?
Tron.
Yes, it is muted. It is muted, yes.
Oh, okay. It isn't muted yet. Can we mute him, please? Thank you.
I'm trying to find him.
Somali.
My bad. All right, you can go on. You can go on.
Okay, finally, he's muted. Look, okay. One, again, the claim, and I don't know why you keep trying to misrepresent what I'm saying, especially when like it isn't very difficult to understand. So I did not say specifically that you do not need justification in order to act in specific ways. Specifically, premise 2 states that you should act in a specific way if and only if, right, your confidence in your belief, right, is as high as the level of certainty in which you have, right, in accordance with your personal interests, values, or circumstances. All I was saying, right, is that the level of certainty that I need to have to say things like abortion is morally unjustified, right, or to say abortion is morally justified is really low. I don't think I need to be extremely certain, right, that a clump of cells in a woman's body, right, I don't need to be extremely certain about the facts about it, for example, right, for me to say that abortion is like morally justified, right. So again, you haven't given me any sort of motivation as to why I should like raise or change the sort of threshold that I have, right, for certainty required, right. So I can say, for example, okay, well, you know, Jared looked at me wrong today. I also debated Bridge on abortion, you know, and Bridge was mildly convincing, and Gyro, he slapped my butt, right? And because of that, that's already met the sort of level of certainty that I have, right? For example, and you haven't given me any sort of reason. There isn't any sort of social fallout that you've pointed. Okay, there hasn't been any sort of social fallout that you've pointed at. There hasn't been any sort of significant negative consequences, right, that you've offered to me that would need me to raise the sort of threshold that I have, right, or the sort of level of certainty I've required, right, for me to hold these specific beliefs. Right? Again, and the first question, I'm going to repeat it slowly for you. What is the threshold? Not what is a threshold. So whenever you mention Bayesian thresholds, right, Bayesian reliabilist ontological parsimony, I don't care about any of those, because I'm asking about what is the threshold in this specific context, right? And the third premise, let me just look at it again. A person knows that abortion is okay, if and only if it's really okay. A person knows that abortion is okay if it's really okay. They have a good enough reason to believe it, and it is safe for them to act on that belief given their situation or desires. That's fine. I don't care. But I don't know if I don't know why I would grant. Actually, I don't know why I would grant the third.
Yeah, nigga named Shin.
Okay, but I don't know why I'd grant the third part. Like, so do you think that, for example, I don't know, if like Gyro and I were in Auschwitz or something, Gyro like looks up to me and he says, "Oh yeah, I know that abortion is wrong. I know that the Holocaust is wrong, but say it is not safe for him to act on the belief right? That abortion is wrong, that he does not truly know that that the Holocaust is wrong. That sounds pretty confused. I don't know why we'd add the third bit. But as for the first and second bit, that's completely fine. I don't care for it. But yeah.
I'm not
All
gonna
right,
lie,
very
bro.
very high tier
That's
interlocutor.
the point.
So a few clarifications, right? When you say I don't need to be highly certain to judge abortion is justified or unjustified, and I can act on low certainty, that's just not going to be P2. Okay. So to re-clarify P2, P2 isn't about whether you can form a judgment with low confidence. Of course you can, you fucking retard. It's about whether the judgment amounts to practically safe, knowledge-guided action. So the claim when the stakes are high, ethical, social, or personal, oh my god, that was bad. The decision threshold B1 rises because the cost of being wrong is significant. And the reason why low certainty isn't enough is just because of error costs, you fucking idiot. So abortion isn't a trivial decision, right? If you judge it as morally permissible with very low certainty and you're wrong, you may risk severe moral error. So high stakes domains require higher thresholds for safe action, just as you wouldn't bet your life savings on like a coin toss with 51% odds on you fucking a tranny. So you shouldn't act on the moral claims at very low credence, right? And it also talks about the practical encroachment. So in epistemology, after Gettier, they emphasize that the knowledge is sensitive to practical states. So when interests are weighty, right, justification demands higher certainty. So saying low certainty is enough ignores how high stake decisions alter rational standards. And so the moral responsibility here is judging with low certainty weakens accountability. So if you find out later that you were wrong, you can't excuse it by saying I wasn't very sure. And so the responsibility presupposes that decisions were made on sufficiently strong grounds. And you're also making asymmetry mistakes, okay? Because with abortion, the consequences of error isn't like symmetrical at all. So if abortion is actually impermissible, but you acted permissively, the cost is morally grave. But if it's permissible and you acted cautiously, the cost is lower. And so that asymmetry raises the B lower certainty, right? Not just lower certainty, but it raises the BI. So lower certainty cannot be sufficient in asymmetric domains. I want you to respond to that after these next points. And for the analogy, let's say like you imagine like a doctor, right, prescribing a risky treatment. Like saying I don't have to be very certain it will help, maybe like a 20% confidence or credence is fine, would be reckless. But the higher the stakes, maybe like life, health, and moral wrongness, the higher the certainty demand is for safe action. And so rejecting P2 by appealing to a low certainty sufficiency collapses the distinction between acting responsibly and acting recklessly. So the epistemic justification A may allow like low thresholds in some cases, maybe like causal guesses, but the practical safety substantiated in BI relies on higher certainty and high stake moral context like abortion. So it's just going to be the case trivially that P2 holds and you need high credence for abortion judgments to be practically safe, even if psychologically you can act on less. And for the other shit you said,
for contextualism.
Can you shut the fuck up?
Oh God.
So
like,
for the other shit you said, right, we're just gonna have to raise the threshold, right? And doing so would not have consequences. So even if they're not immediately negative for you personally, raising or lowering the threshold alters your risk exposure. And what I mean there is that a lower threshold means you can act on the weaker evidence. So increasing that chance of moral or practical error. And so the consequences isn't always like material harm, but reputational, rational, or moral responsibility. And so my epistemic standards is that if you let yourself adopt beliefs on the very weak grounds, then you degrade the reliability of your belief forming practices. And that has a downstream cost. Maybe you'll like misclassify other high stakes or other issues in the same way. And so given that, my accountability would be to say that moral judgments are isolated. So saying abortion is morally justified or unjustified in the way that you did and acting on low confidence would weaken your credibility when you present reasons to others. And so the social or moral consequence is going to be impacted as well, even if you don't feel like immediate personal cost. And the relevant threshold I'm talking about is just not going to be arbitrary, like at all. I don't know why you said that, because the epistemic threshold A is just going to be like a minimal bar for a justified belief, like e.g. 0.7 confidence, and that applies across all domains. And there's going to be a decision threshold, which I already elaborated prior, is going to be higher within this context, which you're asking for. And that means the context sets to the bar tied to stakes. So like in abortion, stakes are moral, personal, and social, blah, 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 like shit like that. But that pushes B upwards, maybe to 0.9 or more, because the cost of error is very high. So the relevant threshold here is going to be this, all right? Hopefully you can understand the syntax I'm going to type out. And so that means whichever is stricter in this situation. And to respond to your fucking dumbass claim about no consequences, right? In normative consequence, if you lower BI, you risk calling someone something justified, when it isn't. And that undermines your responsible moral reasoning. there's also going to be a practical consequence. So even if you feel no direct harm, you're modeling a lax standard. So when extended, that can justify reckless action in high stakes context, maybe medicine, law, or ethics. And there's also going to be an epistemic consequence. And that just means that knowledge claims about, like, they become unstable. So if you accept low thresholds, then you will often believe falsity, violating the aim of beliefs. So even if you feel no immediate consequence, Deji, there are hidden epistemic, moral, and pragmatic consequences to lowering the threshold, which would be increased error, weakened accountability, degraded reliability, and the relevant threshold is not arbitrary in this context because it's set by the stakes of moral error, which are high. So P2 stands as well. Like low thresholds are not sufficient high stake moral demands like abortion. And to the other dumb shit you said, you fucking retarded low tier. For P3, on what grounds would you reject the second part of it? Oh, is it stutter? My fault.
Nah, he was just dick riding, bro. Keep going, bro.
Okay, yeah, that kind of hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
And for P3, I remember this British jeweler, Deji, saying he rejected the other part of P3, but that's really dumb because it establishes the truth condition and the epistemic justification condition as well as the practical safety condition. So when we talk about the truth condition for P3, that just means knowledge requires truth. So if P were false, even perfect justification would not amount to like knowledge. Maybe like a classic lesson from Gallier that can appeal to there. So when applied to abortion, if abortion is not in fact morally permissible, then no one can know it's permissible. At best, like they have a justified but false belief. And that's literally analytic because knowledge is just knowing something. And so knowing something false is just going to be incoherent. And for the epistemic justification condition, that's very simple, right? Like it's necessary for P2 because without sufficient justification, the belief may be like a lucky guess. A justification ensures that the belief is tethered to evidence and reasoning, not like on whim. So when applied to this specific dialogue, you fucking retard. To claim knowledge about abortion's permissibility, S must base their belief on empirical evidence, maybe about health, autonomy, outcomes, and moral reasonings, right? Duties, consequences. And that literally just ties to the Lockean Bayesian view. So justification corresponds to credence. So, and for the practical safety condition, because for some odd reason, you said you rejected the other part of P3 and this was like the last part of it. The reason why that's needed is because even true justified beliefs can fail to count as knowledge. So if they're too fragile or unsafe to act on, post Gettier insight, knowledge should be stable enough to guide rational action in one's actual interests. And how that's applied to abortion is that if S interest includes serious moral responsibility and social consequences, they must have a credence over BI to safely act on the belief. Otherwise, the belief is too risky to guide action. And that's just fucking trivial as well, because that reflects the pragmatic encroachment knowledge, which just holds that justification, it holds epistemic, not epistemic, but knowledge isn't just epistemic, Jesus fucking Christ, but also action sensitive when high stakes are involved. So without these, like, knowledge collapses into lucky falsehood. So it's like very fucking simple.
All right, word. Can we get Shinra back?
Simple, I ain't gonna lie. Like, yo, Shinra, bro, did you track that, bro?
Oh God, he didn't track
No,
that.
I had to respond.
This nigga rage quitted. What the fuck? I
mean, wait.
Yo!
No, he's coming back. No, I got this. Guys. I got this. Who's the better